If you are an immigrant living in the United States right now, I need you to stop whatever you are doing and watch this video until the very end, because what I am about to tell you could be the difference between having full access to your money tomorrow and waking up one morning to find your bank account completely frozen. I am not trying to scare you, I am trying to protect you, and everything I am going to share with you today is documented, sourced, and real. In 2026, there is something happening in Washington that most immigrants do not even know about. And if you only have one bank account right now, you are sitting on a financial time bomb. But do not worry, by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly what to do, step by step, to protect yourself and your money. Let us start from the very beginning, so everyone is on the same page. When you come to the United States, the very first thing people tell you is, go open a bank account. And they are right. You need one. You need it to get paid. You need it to pay rent. You need it to send money home. You need it to buy things online. A bank account is not optional in America. It is your financial survival tool. But here is something that changed very recently that makes a bank account even more critical than it was before. Starting in October 2025, the United States Government Immigration Office, USCIS, stopped accepting paper checks. That means if you need to file any immigration paperwork, pay your visa fees, apply for a green card, renew your status, anything, you cannot do it with cash. You cannot mail a check. You physically need a U.S. bank account or a U.S. debit or credit card to complete the process. So if you do not have a bank account, you literally cannot process your own immigration paperwork. That is how non-optional banking has become for immigrants in America today. Now let me explain how the U.S. banking system works, because it is very different from what most of us know back home. In the United States, there are two main types of financial institutions: traditional banks and online banks. Traditional banks are places like Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citibank. You can walk into a physical branch, talk to a real person, and open an account. Online banks, like Chime or Ally, exist only on your phone or computer. There is no physical location. Most bank accounts in the U.S. are protected by something called FDIC insurance. FDIC stands for Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. What this means in simple language is this: if your bank goes bankrupt, the U.S. government will protect your money up to $250,000. Your money does not disappear. It is insured. And here is something that shocks most immigrants when they first hear it. The FDIC officially states that citizenship does not matter for insurance coverage. It does not matter if you are a citizen, a green card holder, a visa holder, or undocumented. If your money is in an FDIC-insured bank in America, it is protected. Most immigrants assume their money is not safe in U.S. banks because of their immigration status. That assumption is wrong, and that fear keeps many immigrants from using the banking system properly, which actually puts their money at more risk, not less. So the FDIC has your back. But the big threat in 2026 is not coming from the FDIC. It is coming from somewhere else. Let me talk to you about what is happening right now in 2026, because this is the most important part of this video. There is a new executive order being processed by the U.S. government right now, a citizenship verification order. On May 12, 2026, the U.S. Treasury Secretary confirmed that this order is, quote, in process. What this could mean in practical terms is that banks may be required to verify the immigration or citizenship status of their account holders. And if a bank cannot verify your status, or if there is any problem with your documents, your account could be frozen while the verification happens. Think about what that means. You wake up one morning, you try to buy groceries. Your card is declined. You check your phone, your bank account is frozen. You cannot pay your rent. You cannot send money to your family. You cannot pay your immigration lawyer. You cannot even pay your USCIS filing fees. Everything in your financial life depends on that one account, and it is locked. That is not a nightmare. That is a real possibility for immigrants who only have one bank account right now. This is why financial experts, including immigration advocates and money advisors, are telling immigrants today to use what is called the two-bank strategy. And I am going to explain exactly what that means and how to set it up. The two-bank strategy is simple. You do not keep all your money in one place. You spread it across two different accounts at two different institutions. That way, if one account gets frozen, flagged, or blocked for any reason, you still have full access to your money through the second account. Your financial life does not stop. Think of it like this. Imagine you are traveling and you have all your cash in one pocket. Someone bumps into you, that pocket gets picked, and now you have nothing. But if you had split your money between two pockets, you still have something left. Same idea, just with bank accounts. Now the question is, where should you open these accounts? And what documents do you need? Let me walk you through this very carefully. To open a bank account in the United States, most people think you need a Social Security number, or SSN. And yes, a Social Security number makes the process much easier. But if you do not have one yet, you are not stuck. Many banks accept something called an ITIN, which stands for Individual Taxpayer Identification Number. An ITIN is a tax ID issued by the IRS to people who need to file taxes but are not eligible for a Social Security number. If you do not have either of these, some banks, especially credit unions and community banks, will accept a foreign passport and a foreign address to open what is called a non-resident account. Here is what you typically need when you walk into a bank to open an account. You need a valid government-issued photo ID. Your passport works perfectly for this. You need your ITIN or SSN if you have one. You need proof of address. This can be a utility bill, a lease agreement, a letter from your employer, or sometimes even a letter from your school. And you need a small amount of money to open the account, usually between $25 and $100 depending on the bank. Now here is a hidden tip that most people do not know, and this one tip alone can save you hours of wasted time and the pain of rejection. Even if a bank's national policy says they accept ITINs, individual branch managers have their own discretion. Meaning, the same bank might accept your ITIN at one location and reject you at another, depending on the manager at that specific branch. This is not fair, but it is real. So here is what you do before you visit any bank in person. You call the branch first. You call the exact branch near you, not the national hotline, the local number for that specific location. You ask them one simple question. You say, "I have an ITIN and a foreign passport. Do you open bank accounts for non-residents at this branch?" That 5-minute phone call will tell you everything you need to know. If they say yes, you go in. If they say no, you move to the next branch or the next bank. You do not waste a single trip. Now let me also warn you about something specific to online banks. Many immigrants try to open accounts with online-only banks like Chime or Ally because they seem easy and convenient. And I understand why. No branches, no appointments, just your phone. But here is the truth that these companies will not tell you up front. Both Chime and Ally reject applicants who do not have a Social Security number, often in the middle of the application, without warning. You spend 20 or 30 minutes filling out forms, submitting your information, maybe even uploading your documents, and then you get a rejection message. No explanation, just rejected. Thousands of immigrants go through this every year. They think something is wrong with them. They think their immigration status is the problem. But really it is just that these specific apps were not built for ITIN holders. It is a technical limitation, not a personal rejection. So if you do not have an SSN yet, save yourself the frustration and start with in-person banking at institutions that are known to work with immigrants. Banks like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Citibank have specific programs for non-residents. Credit unions are also excellent. They tend to be more flexible, more community-oriented, and more willing to work with your situation. And there are immigrant-friendly fintech services like Majority, Commune, and Cheese that were specifically designed for immigrants and accept ITINs and foreign passports. Now let us talk about credit scores because this connects directly to your financial safety in America. Your credit score is a number between 300 and 850. It tells every bank, landlord, car dealer, and lender in America how trustworthy you are with money. When you first arrive in the US, your credit score is 0. Not bad, 0. You do not even exist in the system yet, and that creates problems. Banks may be hesitant to give you certain products. Landlords may ask for a larger deposit. You may not qualify for a loan or a credit card, and without a credit card, it becomes harder to build credit. It feels like a circle with no entry point. But here is the entry point. You start with what is called a secured credit card. A secured credit card works like this. You give the bank a deposit, say $200 or $300, and that deposit becomes your credit limit. You use the card like a normal credit card for small things, groceries, gas, a monthly subscription, and you pay the full balance every single month. By doing this consistently for 6 to 12 months, you start building a credit history. Your score begins to rise, and once it rises, you qualify for better products with no deposit required. There is one critical rule for secured credit cards that you must never forget. Always pay your full balance before the due date. Not the minimum payment, the full balance. If you carry a balance month to month and pay interest, that hurts your finances even though it technically builds credit. You want to build credit for free. Pay in full, every time. Let me now go through the most common mistakes that immigrants and students make with banking and credit in the US, because knowing these mistakes in advance will save you months of setbacks. The first mistake is waiting too long to open a bank account. Many people arrive and spend their first few weeks or even months using cash or relying on someone else's account. Every day you wait is a day you are not building financial history in the US. Open your account in your first week if possible. The second mistake is only having one account. You already know why this is dangerous in 2026. Open 2 accounts at 2 different institutions. Use one as your primary account and keep 3 to 6 months of living expenses in the second one as your safety backup. The third mistake is applying for too many credit cards at once. Every time you apply for a credit card, the bank does what is called a hard inquiry on your credit. Too many hard inquiries in a short period actually lower your score. Be patient. Apply for one secured card, build your history, then apply for the next one 6 to 12 months later. The fourth mistake is not reading the fine print on bank accounts. Some accounts have monthly maintenance fees, usually between $10 and $15 per month. But most banks will waive this fee if you maintain a minimum balance or set up a direct deposit from your employer. Always ask about fee waivers when you open your account. Never pay a monthly fee if you can avoid it. The fifth mistake is using online banks as your only account before you have an SSN. As I mentioned, Chime and Ally will reject you without an SSN. Use in-person banking first, then add online tools later once your SSN is in place. Let me give you one final piece of advice that ties everything together. Your bank account in America is not just a place to store money. It is your identity in the financial system. It is your access to housing, transportation, education, and now, your ability to process your own immigration paperwork. Protecting it means protecting your entire life here in the US. In 2026, with the Citizenship Verification Executive Order in process, the stakes are higher than they have ever been. The immigrants who will be okay are not the ones with the most money. They are the ones who were prepared. 2 accounts, the right documents, a 5-minute phone call before walking into any bank, a secured credit card used wisely. These are simple steps, but they are powerful steps. You came to this country to build something. Do not let a frozen bank account set that back. Take action today. Open your second account this week. Make that phone call before your next bank visit. And if you found this video helpful, please share it with every immigrant you know, because most of them are sitting on one account right now and they have no idea what is coming. I will see you in the next video.